Hi everyone, welcome to Bonsai Expression. I'm Christoph, and today, well, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's that time of year, middle of June, and it is the perfect time, as I say, hot and sweaty, to get stuck into one of my ficuses. Specifically, my Fusion Ficus, aka one of them horrible little, alright, it's not so little, but one of those horrible things that you buy from IKEA, aka, you can see this little thing down here. Let me grab it. Now, if you watched the previous videos of the bonsai tour of Bonsai Expressions Garden, you'll see I talked about this, and I've started working on it over the last couple of years, slowly working on it. Now, as I say, I repotted it from the old crappy soil you get from IKEA, and I put it into my bonsai soil, and it slowly started developing a nice root flare. Look at that, nice. And these been fused together from the original ficuses, and then they've been grafted with these microcarpas that are awful, absolutely disgusting. And you can see just here, this is where they put them all over them to make them look nice and sold as a bonsai, but they're not really. Anyway, I first started by removing one just to make sure they do remove and they do heal. After 2 years, that is exactly where we're up to, just healing one, but you'll see and notice that I've got the normal growth coming through, and that is where I wanted to make sure it heals proper and grows its own stock, which it does. It grew massively. I've cut it back, and now I've got its own growth as well. Look at that, it's now putting its own growth on, little growth patches here, there and everywhere. So now I know it's perfectly okay, puts its own growth on. I thought, hot, humid weather, we'll get into it. I'll show you what I want to do, talk about it, and then, well, just do it. So let me just pop this to one side. I did say it's hot and humid, sticky. So what I would like to do today is give it a big chop, not just one, but possibly two. So the bottom part of it, I want to chop and then let the stem grow, and I'll show you where I'm going to cut. But then I'm going to chop another part, and then I'm going to have 2 extra pieces, and I'm going to let them try and grow some roots in some water and see if I can get some extra trees. But we're going to grow the bottom section and then regrow a new tree from its original rootstock. That's why I've allowed extra things to grow from it. So let me put it on the bench, and instead of just gabbing, I'm going to show you while I gab, and then we're going to do it. Sound good? So let's disappear, move all this awesomeness off my bench, and get into it. Here it is on display for you. So these IKEA trees, as I say, and you can't just get them from IKEA, you can get them from other big box stores. So over in the UK, B&Q, you can get them from there, which is a hardware store. Over in America, I think they call it Bunnings. No, that's Australia. So Bunnings in Australia. Not sure what it's called in the US, but you get my point. Anyway, you can get these from any major big brand store. It's not just IKEA. No, I got this one from IKEA, as I'm saying. So these ones are several trees fused together. So if you look closely, you can see different trees that are fused together. They've got like big lines in it. And then not only is one tree fused together to make this giant tree, I'm pretty sure it's a Benjamina, by the way, they have then grafted the microcarpas on top of them, so in to make it go left, right. So I had one at the bottom here, and then got one here, and then a big stack of it all at the top. So I dug this one out at the bottom just to make sure it works, and then it's now healing over nicely, although this has taken about 2 years. Dug it out properly, made sure there was nothing left of it, got it in, and now it's rounded over, healed off, and then in the middle it's doing its thing. It's been in this pot, as I say, 2 years now. A few weeds growing in, but nothing major. I keep looking after it, make sure it's healthy. Now, because obviously I've still got most of the microcarpa on, it is trying and competing against each other. So the microcarpa is competing against the original Benjamina. I let it shoot out the Benjamina took over because it is the dominant tree, it is the original tree. So the Microcarpa didn't put on much growth. It is now finally putting some growth on, only because I cut the original tree back. It grew up loads and I've cut the tree back. That's now trying to grow up, but it is putting some fresh growth on the original cutbacks. So these are going today. So what I'm going to do first thing is I will dig these out as much as I can, trying to, even though I'm not sure exactly what I will be saving in terms of the main tree after we do the rest of the procedure, I'm going to cut these out as much as I can, as safely as I can without damaging the main trunk line. And then what I will be doing, the main part of the tree, this body here, this is what I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be making a cut, so if I can just show you, I think it'll be there. I'm going to be using this as the main leader. This is the main trunk line. I'm going to be coming in and I'm going to be cutting roughly here, sort of diagonally. So I'm going to be cutting just here. I'm going to go across, probably I'll lose this one. I'm going to go across, straight across that section there, all the way through. And then this sort of tree here, what I'll probably do is just make another cut here. So then I'm going to keep this tree and I'm going to use this one as well. So I'm going to have two little trees. I'm going to try and put them in water and see if they will spread roots, grow roots. I might put a little bit of sphagnum moss in there to leach the sphagnum moss goodness into it, and I'll put a sprinkling of rooting hormone as well, see if that benefits the water, helps grow roots. We'll experiment, because I know Ficus obviously take from cuttings just on normal in water. Don't know if they do it with something this size. We're going to find out. But the main concern is this bottom section. This is what I'm going to grow it with. And then that's going to be my front. It's going to go around, twisty, and then come back up. And then what I will do is build on the tree from here, let this thicken up, try and sort of match it with this, and then I will grow it outwards. I want to keep it small and stumpy, like a sumo style. Ow, sorry. I want to keep it sort of a sumo style because it's quite a thick base, but I'm going to build off it. I don't want to go too big with it. I would like to keep it roughly sort of this sort of height and then build it out wide as well. They're the plans. So now it's time to action it. So you're going to watch me dig this out, and then I'm going to use one of these little Japanese blades, cut through it. I've got two of these. I'm going to use this twice, I think, maybe once or twice. Because of the sap, after this cut, this is probably going to be useless. I'll clean it up best I can, but sap tend to get into your teeth, making it difficult to cut through anything larger than, I'd say, your pinky. So something this thick is going to block up pretty quick, so I need to give it a couple of wipes maybe. Hopefully I'll go straight through, but the sap will block it up really fast and make it dull, blunt. So I might not get any more use out of it. Might be one for the bin, but hopefully it won't. So in my tools, my arsenal, first thing I'm going to do is nice and easy, is just go ahead and cut them off. So if you want to try this at home, you're more than welcome to. First thing first is you just go around and you cut your branches, just so that you can see what you're doing when you're going in. So now your tree is bare, but it makes it a lot easier to work in there. Get in there, dig it in. And dig is a pretty nasty word, but what you are trying to do is dig these out. So I'll zoom you in a little bit now, just so you can see what you're trying to get out. It is the old branch that was fused. So obviously, if you've seen these being done, what they do is they cut, and then they take the old branch, put it in, and they tape it up. And after about, I don't know, 6 months to 18 months after it's taken properly, they fuse together, sealed, and it becomes one tree. I'm trying to undo that, and if you see I'm pulling on it, it won't work. So what you've got to do is you've got to just go in, cut it, and then gently cut it, and then pull it away and slightly dig it out. So I have got a knife somewhere in my bag of tricks. I'll cut round and then I will nibble away as well. So let's zoom you in so you can have a look. What you need to do is anything that is sealing it, so this bit here, you just got to score away. It's not the most sophisticated of processes, but that bit is what's sealing it, and then you go around and again you just what's attaching. So this little section here is one tree attaching to the old bit. You're just going to go around and literally scoring round and then slowly carving it out. You can't even tell the difference between the two sections of tree. And as I say, because they're fused, if you try and move it, you can't move it. And then once I've removed the two layers that are around each other, and then you should roughly be able to see the difference between the two sections that I've bonded together. Now you don't want to take too much of this off. Now just around here I can see that there is a completely different part of this tree, so I'm going to go ahead and start nibbling this out. Now this is quite brutal. And it does leave a big wound, hence why I had a massive scar at the bottom. As you can see, there's a brown ring in there as well. So that is obviously where the two different trees are meeting together. From the fusion. When we're doing this, we need to be as neat as possible, cleaning up the wound. And then it's just a case of neatening that a little bit more. Once it's been dug out, you've got to put some sealant on it, some sort of wound sealant. Otherwise you're going to get dye back in the tree, an infection of the tree. Especially the sections that you're keeping. So that one's all dug out, and that is the old branch, and you can see, so that there is just where it is mated up to the tree. So that's what we removed, and this is now all sealed up. Hopefully it's gonna seal up nicely, and we're gonna do a cut. I'm gonna go a little bit higher just so it seals. So I'm gonna cut right across here. So I'm gonna start making the cuts now, and what I'll do is I'm just gonna lop the top off, and then the next cut I'll make it a little bit lower down, and then the cut after that I'll make up the main cut. So then I've got the top branch, or the top tree, to put in water, the next lot to put in water, and then the main one that we're going to be playing with. And in between all that, I will remove the rest of the branches. I don't want, because they'll take energy out of the trunk, and we don't want that, because we want to give ourselves the optimal chance of them other trees, say in quotations, the other trees giving us the best chance of rooting. And then we've got the main one there that's gonna succeed, and hopefully it doesn't die back because of that big wound. Really, we should let it heal before we cut, but I'm not going to do that, because if it dies back, it dies back. I'm not too concerned, because we've got big chunks of root that's healthy. So let's dive into it. Let's get cutting. Let's get this saw on the go. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to look, pinpoint, and I'm going to cut here. Take this top off. So that's the first cut done, and I'm full of sap. So you just need to give that clean, and I'm full of sap as well, and tree, and then we'll make the next cut. And before we make the next cut, I'm just going to take these branches off. And let's just nibble them away. It's a decent sized branch, this one. If we were cutting back, this would have made a good leader. So we might have to put some cut paste on this one. Right, that's all done. So the next cut I'm going to make, I'm just going to cut so if we're going to cut for the main one somewhere there, in fact what I'll do is I'll cut the main one here, and then I'll put this on the bench and we'll make a decision on that one. So I'll cut the main one here. So I want it somewhere there. Cut it a little bit high, leave for die back. Maybe a bit there. That's fine. How's that looking? Not too bad. Let's get it off the podium there. Oh, there's some weight in that. Jeez. In fact, I might just leave that as one tree. I like the look of that. I'm going to put that to one side. Let's have a look at this. We might need to just tidy this up a little bit. But as I say, this is absolutely caked in sap now. Just neaten these bits up at the bottom. I've got to say, that is so much cooler. For me, the front is here, but for you, the front is round about there. But just look at it, it's so much better. It's got so much exaggerated shape in it. And I say it's a squatted sumo, but when it comes in, I want to keep it low. This is going to be my front. It's going to be so much more difficult now because this is so much thicker compared to this. But yeah, I'm going to grow these outwards, I think. Get some on the back. I've got this one here. Might not even keep these at all, but this one's going to grow. I'm definitely going to keep this one for the time being. I just need some on the back. And don't forget, now I've chopped that. Actually, let's get some cut paste on it quickly. But as I say, now I've cut that, it will force more growth backwards into the thicker part of the trunk. So yeah, let's get some of this putty moulded. Let's get it on the wound. Here's a big cut. Well, that's what happens when you do a big cut. You get a big wound. Let's have a look. And this is the perfect time to be doing this sort of stuff on a ficus. Hot, humid, middle of summer, or start of summer. So ideally we'll cut this back again, round to about here, but I want to let this growth come in a little bit more. Let the tree recover a bit now. Well, there we go. That's how this is looking, shaping up. It's gonna be a nice fat squatted tree. Also, let me show you what I've done with the other section of the tree that's left over. So I've got it in a bucket of water here. I've wrapped the body, I've wrapped the bottom slash base in sphagnum moss, and I've just tied it off a little bit with some raffia. Sphagnum moss is just to help it put some more roots on. And we've obviously sealed the top. As you can see, it's in water. And I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to put it in the plant room. Just like this. And hopefully, should put some roots on. So that's all I'm going to do with that one. Just leave it exactly like that. Sphagnum moss, in some water, plenty of light in the plant room. It's nice and humid, and that should develop some roots. Well, fingers crossed, it'll develop roots. The IKEA purchase, that is a bonsai. I mean, they sold us a bonsai, but it's got to be a proper bonsai soon. Now I've done a big chop. So it is a fusion. Let's call it another fusion bonsai. I've already got one, so let's call it the second one. Let's call it the Sumo Fusion Bonsai. Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, if you've got one of these and you've purchased it from IKEA or one of the big box stores, let me know. I'm pretty sure that Andy from Bonsai Crazy's got one of these. Let's tag him in this video and see if he's let's see how his is doing. Anyway, so we've done a big cut. Chop, chop, chop. We've got plenty of new growth. I'm letting this leader grow up just to try and thicken it, and then we'll cut back eventually. And everything else, big wounds, we've got to let them heal. Everything else is well on its way growing. The roots I've already established because I did that 2 years ago. So all I've got to do really is a repot on it, but I'm not going to do it this year because of these big chops. I'm going to let it grow in. So all I've got to say to this and to you lot there is please leave me a comment. Let me know if you've got one of these, if you've tried this. If not, let me know what you think of this one. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Please do subscribe if you've not, and leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the weather, because it's roasting. Thanks for watching again, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. I've got to go get something to eat. Over and out.